All right, I guess we start with roll call. Who's taking over for Jim?
We have to have election of officers
We
first.
do have to have election
Yes.
officers, okay?
It's number 4 on your agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. So I suggested that.
Karen can do it.
Yeah, Karen. knows
Karen.
who's here.
Can you do the roll call, please?
Chris Fry,
Here.
Dave Kinzinger,
Here.
Richard Burke,
Here.
Tom Stearns,
Yeah.
Otis Marsh.
Here.
We have a quorum.
What?
Okay.
Oh, we have a quorum. Yeah.
Does anybody have any amendments or on the previous meeting's agenda or minutes?
One thing we'll add, and I guess we'll add it under, what would you add it, under new business D?
No, this is
For
for
the
previous
minutes.
meetings.
Minutes.
Oh, no, we're on minutes, so I thought we were on amendment, okay, sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those are approved. Any amendments to the agenda?
Yeah, could we get a staff report from Liz on the comprehensive plan, since I was out of town?
Okay.
And then under 10D, I guess, new business, we'll put this acceptance of and scheduling a public hearing for a variance request from Charles Davis for a setback variance.
You have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Election of officers.
I make a motion, or I put on the table that Chris retain his seat as chair.
Let's do the whole.
Oh, okay, yeah, we keep the whole slate, but we don't have a vice president, and we don't have a secretary. I'm vice president now?
Sure.
No, that's a question.
I'm giving you an answer.
Yes, sure.
Okay, oh, we should make the new guy be secretary.
What?
You don't have to do anything.
Okay, I accept then.
Your only job, as I understand it, is to call the roll.
Do the roll call.
So write down everybody's name.
Yeah.
We have to sign sometimes in plaque or something.
Yeah.
No, I'll just pass around the sign-in sheet.
I should say unless Otis wants to be vice chair.
I would rather not.
Okay. I mean, I don't have to do it if nobody else, if I'm the only one that's willing to do it, I will, but.
Very good.
Okay. Okay, so I make a motion that the officers be Chris Fry as president, David Kinzinger as vice president, and Rick?
Richard.
Richard
Burt.
Richard Burt as secretary.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to public hearing for a variance for conditional use permit for Eric Grunberg to rebuild an existing net house 0 feet from the property line in a single-family residential zone at 207 Hogue Alley. Should we open this up for public comments at this time?
We received 2 written comments, one from Dave Omer, and is in your packet, and the other one from Scott Roberge and Jane Smith, which was just handed out, both supporting the application.
Do you have anybody present who?
Should we read this into the minutes since it's not in the packet?
You want to go ahead and do that?
Oh. I was just, it's a volunteer organization, isn't it? No, that's not- Well, since it's not in the packet, we should probably read this into the minutes, that it's dated October 13th, 2015. My wife and I support Eric Grunberg's application for setback variance and conditional use permit for his property. The existing building was built before this area was zoned, along with most of the buildings in the neighborhood. So trying to meet lot line requirements is impossible. They also have issues with a net shed in the neighborhood, and that is keeping with the historical use in Hammerslew, signed Scott Roberge and Jane Smith, 12 Marion Street.
Thank you.
Question.
I'm with Eric and can speak for the building without fishing.
Okay.
Send me questions.
Anyone have any questions?
I guess I have a question. If he's already got one there, he's got to get a building permit to rebuild it, or?
Correct.
Yeah, the piers are solid, but the rest of it's pretty rotten. When he bought it, the roofing had been missing for a while, so most of the bones of the building need to be replaced.
And
It's a,
it's an existing building, but once, like I said, he's planning on keeping the pilings and whether the deck or not, but then to go to tear the walls down, which are falling down and stuff, to rebuild. Once you do that, it's basically back to a new structure, so you would have to abide by setback variant requirements had he not gotten, has he not granted this variance.
and
So-
use,
And the use also,
Yeah.
true,
so that's why he has to get both a conditional use permit and a variance.
and a variance.
Is it, quick question, is it generally in keeping with what was there as far as the drawings we have here? Is that similar in size and
Same
everything?
width and length. I think he might be thinking of a different pitch of
Okay,
roof,
just
so
changing
height
the
might
roof
change
pitch a little bit.
a little bit.
Okay. But basically similar to what was there, very
Yeah.
close to it.
Yeah, he'd like to continue using it
Yeah.
for fishing, storage, and a workshop.
Okay.
The one thing, as I've talked to Eric about also on talking back to the building permits section of things, as proximity to property lines, type of construction will dictate, your plans do show like windows and everything. He may have to abort some of those windows and sheetrock those walls, the areas where he's too close to the property line, as for fire codes, but not.
Yeah, he'll have to, it will have to be approved, or meet standards.
Yeah, we'll deal with that in the building permit
Yeah.
process
Yeah,
phase,
3
as far as
foot,
fire
put in
code.
a lot line for the window and.
Or get rid of the windows and then have a 1 hour
Yeah,
wall
move
there.
it, do something with it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult anyway.
It's tricky because the lot's like right there. But I think one side is city right away.
Mm-hmm.
The other side is a vacant lot at the moment, but
Yeah.
How about snow load? That block
So
road?
one side, on the side of the city right away, it shouldn't affect the windows.
No,
But it's the other side that is against that other property line that,
correct.
thankfully.
and it looks like only, is that half of it that it's against? Half of it's on its own lot. Am I looking at it right?
Yeah, so it's this right
It's
here.
that right there. So this piece here is on its own lot. It's only this section that's too close to
And
the
the back
property
half,
line.
yeah.
So there's only like half of it there that would have an issue as far as fire goes.
And then this half of it.
But that's against the right of way, would that be a problem? I'm asking you.
As far as what?
This piece here that's against.
It's against the property line.
Against the property line, against
But
the
it's
right
the right of way.
Right, no, you measure for fire lines to the center of the right of way.
So
Okay, so it shouldn't be an issue. Okay,
Not on that section.
on that side, so it's just the one front, the part toward the water on the other side away from.
Yeah, where it touches
That, what is it?
T-147 there,
Yeah.
and it looks like on T-149 also.
It's at the northeast.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can adjust windows and stuff. We just wanted to show you.
Right, I know that the pictures, I said
Yeah.
looks,
So yeah, it looks to me like there's only really half of one side that there'd be a fire issue on.
Well, that's good to know.
on 147 and 149, right? I don't know distances here to 149, but
Yeah.
I believe he asked for a variance on that side too.
Chris, I got 2 questions. What are you gonna, do you know what you're gonna cite it with?
I think Eric said that there are rules
Right,
because of the zoning.
right, and I
Like
guess,
a metal roof, wood siding, I think was
yeah,
the rule.
yeah, so you weren't gonna use a metal siding on it?
I think he had originally wanted to do wood and then a band and then used some of the old roofing just for style, but I don't think he was attached. If you know, it's against
Okay.
the rules, we'll figure it out.
And then the next, yeah, I guess that was my main question.
I think he wanted to incorporate as much of the old building as he could. Use the old, the boards that are good. And,
To try to keep that look,
yeah.
so it
Yeah.
fits in with the neighborhood.
Yeah, my only concern was if you built a metal box,
Yeah.
I would
you know,
love
might
that.
not, yeah, okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
We want a stylish building.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
I think Eric was attracted to the property because of the historic nature of it and wants to preserve that.
Oh, yes, my other question was, the vacant lot, the owners of that, do they have any comments or objections?
Didn't receive any other
Okay.
comments.
And I'm not aware if there's any building covenants down in the slough down there. Are there?
As far as the design.
Yeah.
I think
Siding and
it's,
stuff like that.
I don't think extends to that.
Remember when
part of the
Charlie
slough.
built his house here, there was.
That's a different
he had-
zoning.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to make sure
If
it was
you,
wood
I
siding.
mean, if you wanted that, if that was important to the commission to ensure that it was wood siding and metal roof, that kind of character, you probably would have to put it into the conditional use permit, because it's not in the code.
It's not in the code,
Yeah,
right?
this is single-family residential. There is an area of the slough that does have to abide by those kinds of restrictions, but this is not in that area.
Oh, I don't need to put it in if their intent is to
Okay.
use wood siding.
Just let you know that we
Yeah.
can't hold them to it if they
Can't
change
hold it
their
to it,
mind.
yeah, all right. And then, I guess just a general question, if you build a net shed anywhere in town in a residential lot, are there any covenants on how you can site it or what it's supposed to, there's just a general question.
Only if you put it in the conditional use permit.
Only if you put in the conditional use permit, okay. So in other words, if you wanted to change that borough-wide, you'd have to put it in the form of an ordinance then. Okay.
Service area wide, sorry.
Hmm?
It wouldn't be borough wide, it would just be service area wide.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. Okay. Mr. Chair, I move that we close the public hearing if nobody's got any more questions or comments.
Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Madam Mayor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
What's the hearing?
Now we have a public
Public
hearing
hearing.
for change in zoning and minor subdivision for the Petersburg Borough at 1200 Hagen Drive. Let's open that up for public comment. And is there anything new that's to add to that, Joe?
Nope.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I got a question of Joe. Okay, so my understanding is the Baptist Church owns that little lot, not the Masonic Lodge.
Which little lot are we talking?
The lot that, when they rezoned this, there's a corner lot, when you turn in the Hammers, there's a little lot right in there. My understanding was that the Baptist Church owned that little lot, not the Masonic Temple. But I could be wrong. Maybe they sold it to the Masons.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only thing. That's my only concern on this whole thing is make
Is that
sure.
the lot that's listed as 1 on that site
Yeah, I
plan?
believe so. I can't find the right page here.
It's 1 and 2.
1 and 2? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing having to do, it's privately owned, yeah. It's-
Right, yeah. I was just curious if anybody had notified those guys and,
They were
Yeah.
part of the mail out.
yeah, but I didn't see them on the mail out is, I guess, my concern. Because they would be the main ones that would be impacted by it.
Well, you're proposing subdividing off that section that's behind those two lots, 1 and 2, is...
Right,
Is that right?
well, yeah, because that would affect it, and depending upon
Right.
how they're gonna,
If you want, I can get the list of who got letters. I don't think it's in your packet.
yeah, that's what I was wondering. When I looked at it before, I didn't see it. I just want to make sure those guys were aware of what's going on.
should have received it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that was my only concern, was because I assume if they're gonna use that for access, right, where would they be taking, I guess I got some questions, I guess they'll be addressed later on in the process, how they're gonna, if they're gonna use the back part of the building for receiving freight, how are they gonna access that? Are they gonna access it off of their original lots? Are they gonna access it off of Haugen? No,
Off the original lots.
off the
So they're
original
going to come around
lots.
the end
I
of the
think
building?
you're gonna have an opportunity to go through that whole thing,
Okay.
because before we sell or put that property up for sale, they're gonna have to come in, and you're gonna get to look at their proposed plan and what they expect to do.
Okay.
This hearing is strictly for changing the zoning, because if there's objection to or concern about changing the zoning, there's no point in going forward
Right,
with the
okay, I got
property
it.
sale. And also, we don't know, they could purchase the property and then turn around and sell it to somebody else. So
Right,
at this point, is it okay to have this be a commercial lot regardless of what occurs on it,
okay,
is kind of the
Okay.
point. And then, to your question, the letter was sent to Baptist Missions in
Okay.
Homer, Alaska, also sent to the Masons in Anchorage, who own that other property that's
Okay.
on the other side.
okay, okay.
The Masons on which property?
It's up here, 1 and 2 on this,
Oh,
up here on this,
Okay, so-
after the corner.
after the corner.
By the tower there.
Okay.
The tower, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and the Baptist church owns that lot that's between, there's like,
Yeah,
1 and 2.
yeah, 1 and 2, yeah.
On this.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah, right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
12th Street.
Yeah, I was just making sure they'd gotten notified of it, because that would potentially affect them depending upon how they, because they wanted to put in a road access, from their parking lot, then that would kind of cut off their lot.
Mhm. You're saying that if we do approve this, that they will get the zoning changed, that when that's developed, it will come back before the planning commission concerning how they're going to develop that lot?
It would go to the assembly to
Okay.
change the zoning.
First, the assembly has to change,
So
So we're just
To
recommending
vote
the
to
assembly.
change, right. At this
Okay.
point, it's just a recommendation
Recommendation.
whether or not to change the zoning. Then there's a whole nother process as far as putting public land up for sale. And at that point, Hammer and Wecon is the applicant, so then we would go through a whole process with them and another public hearing process.
Okay.
And they would come forward and show
And how they're going to use that.
how they plan to use the property, so then
And
you
then-
could address the specifics at that time.
And it probably goes up for bids and they,
And then it goes to public auction probably,
Unless the assembly waives the
Right.
public auction process.
I guess my concerns of it is we're authorizing turning green space to commercial property, and are the people in the community going to be okay with that?
that would be the point of, this process, to determine that.
Well, then my next question too is, not only their intent is to use that as their freight dock, so, that's what you're gonna see,
Yeah.
so that's my question.
I believe
Yeah.
there was going to be some store expansion along with the freight dock
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
If the preliminary ideas and plans.
Okay,
So, but again, that's subject to later review.
now, would it be up to review unless they need a variance by us?
It would probably come up to review when it came time to sell the land.
Sell the land.
Yeah, before they started any construction.
'Cause I would like to see something from them as to how they're going to address, screening that loading dock if they're moving it around to the backside, so that as people are going back and forth to the airport, they're not seeing
Welcome to
just a big-
Petersburg. Here's
yeah,
our industrial
Here's our
area.
industrial loading dock on the back of the grocery store,
Hmm.
and
You mean like every other
especially
town?
since we're taking green space and turning it to,
And then I guess, just following up on that is, okay, so that entire greenbelt area, that's what we're talking about putting up for approving the zoning change for that entire area.
Well, other than the piece that we're
Right.
reserving behind lots 1 and 2.
Right, right.
I think that's your call as far as whether you want to keep the area behind 1 and 2 as green space and just recommend commercial for the larger portion of the lot, or you want the whole thing to go commercial.
With the amount of traffic that goes through there, preserving that section behind 1 and 2 would be pretty important. It'll add to public safety on that corner.
Yeah, my concern was they put a driveway, right there that would block 1 and 2, going, and possibly making that an entrance. Because I know the state probably won't give them the authorization to run off of Haugen. So I was just wondering how they envision utilizing the space.
And they're probably going to have to bring a driveway around the end of the store.
Right. Yeah, they have a big parking lot on that one end there, I assume. And then my question is, I think they own lot number 2 right now. I think that's where the driveway's at, or where the parking lot's at right now.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
So there's 2 lots there, 1 and 2? Okay.
I think they own 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, that was my other question.
So do you know how they're gonna divide that up once they do try to, if they do rezone it? This chunk of land, would,
I don't understand the question.
I mean, this is the piece of land that's getting rezoned? Correct?
We're talking about all of it, but this is where the recommendation is to subdivide this lot into these 2 pieces. This can stay open space, and this can go commercial.
Correct.
Or they can go both go commercial. They can both stay green, open space. That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
But the recommendation is to, if we do anything, is to
And
cut
then the
it.
petition to sell the thing, would they sell the whole thing?
They would just sell this portion.
Yeah, that was my
One thing
question.
is that I don't know, as far as building out here, our water main comes right down through here.
There's this plat actually doesn't go out far enough. It doesn't extend the right-of-way far enough out. The right-of-way actually goes like this.
Mm-hmm.
So this little piece is actually cut. So this is actually a smaller parcel than
Right.
what it shows on the.
Because I believe the state retains a very large right-of-way along
It
the
does.
road right
It's
now.
another 25 feet from the
Yeah,
road to
right, from the road.
into that green area.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was 50 feet from the center line or something like that.
It's
Yeah,
50
it's-
feet
yeah,
on
it's
each
a big-
side. And
but-
this only shows 25.
But any idea where this water
I
main,
don't.
that 13-inch or 14-inch water main comes through there, that the city would not want to relinquish that
That's to
be determined later?
determine on the
Correct.
development
Okay, just so that
plan.
everybody knows, that, yeah, that's.
I mean, the other
there.
thing I think would be important too, as part of a sale, is to make sure that we retain an easement for the trail that goes between the back of the store and the post office. It kind of cuts a little bit right in the corner of the green belt. I want to make sure that that is kept open.
So, but all these issues will be discussed at a further point. So all we're.
So we can put it in there as far as when the sale occurs. It's going to include this easement. It can include any
Right,
concerns on
okay.
development.
Yeah,
things
because
like
I don't
that.
have enough information to make a decision on anything right now, except recommending to the assembly that they consider rezoning it.
That's all that we're asking. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then they can put their caveats in it as well. Or should we list this as concerns? Water main, maintaining trail access.
To me, it's more appropriate to do that when we actually are going to sell the property, because then you can put that into the
Okay,
sales agreement.
okay,
But,
okay.
I mean,
So
if you want to list them out as far as things issues that we've identified that will need to be addressed as this goes forward, we could do that, but.
I just think it'd be nice that everybody knew what we were thinking about at the start of the process instead of the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so I would, yeah, okay, so there's nobody here to speak to this, obviously, okay, so,
And we didn't receive any written
okay.
comments.
Can then I guess and I'll shut up and I'll move that we close the public hearing.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do we have any visitors' views related to the agenda items? Do we have any visitors' views unrelated to agenda items? Okay, report of staff members. Liz, you want to fill us in on what's going on with comp plan and such?
Sure. The comment period closed September 30th. We got a slew of comments last week, which was great. And they're working on a final draft with the thought that will be done by the end of October on that. But I'll just ask if there's anything specific that you wanted me to address.
No, I was just curious, where is the status?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's where it's at. I would expect that once the final draft is done, it's obviously going to come back to the commission for review and a recommendation to the assembly. So probably November or early December
Okay.
is the plan on that.
Okay. On to unfinished business. Consideration for variance for conditional use permit for Eric Grunberg to rebuild an existing net house 0 feet from the property line in a single-family residential zone at 207 Capogue Alley.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the variance and the conditional use permit for said property.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Discussion?
Is that a question? Do you mean it approve or accept?
Yeah, the proof, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I think we covered most of our discussion underneath
yeah.
the public hearing time. All in favor?
May I suggest that you approve the findings of fact as presented?
We want to do the findings of fact
You could
before
just
we do the...
you could just include it
Okay,
all as.
I'll include in my motion that we also approve the findings of fact. Does that work?
Second?
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
They can do
Aye.
both.
Aye.
Aye.
So in other words, we don't have to go through the thing one by one and vote on each one of
No,
these.
you did that at all.
We
at
did that,
once.
oh, you did it already,
Yes.
thank you, okay, thank you.
I'm sure you read it already.
Yes, I have read it, yes, yes.
Yes.
Staff did your work.
Okay, second under unfinished business is consideration of change in zoning and a minor subdivision for the Petersburg Borough at 1200 Hagen Drive. Do we have a motion?
The motion's got to have what we really got here. I gotta- I don't know that the words are right, but I propose that we approve the change of variance at,
Change in zoning?
yeah, change in zoning at 1314 Joa Street.
Oh,
No, no, this is
we're-
different.
That's new business.
We're talking about the Hammer and Weecon.
We're talking
Yeah.
about the Hammer and Week.
1200
Well,
Hagen.
isn't
1200 Hagen.
1200 Hagen? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not in
That's the
here.
wrong page here.
It's just above.
It's because it's not in there,
Okay.
so,
Looking at this one,
Yeah.
Yeah, the one we were just discussing about the water
Yeah.
main and the trail. And
There's a staff recommendation page on there.
Yeah, there's a whole,
That's how-
there's 2 pages before that.
Oh, yeah, here we go. I got it right here. So it's a rezone and minor subdivision.
yes.
I make a motion that we approve the rezone and minor subdivision of the parcel 01-006-442. And does that include the sale of the property? That's just as rezoning?
Just the rezoning.
Okay, I move we approve that rezoning.
I second it.
Discussion?
I would like to notify the assembly that when they're considering this, that at that time that Mr. Bertinoli find out where the water main's at.
Yeah, we'll
And make them
contact
aware of
Mr.
that.
Hagerman. He'll
Yeah.
tell you exactly where it's at.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah. And that we'd also like to maintain the easement for the hiking trail and that, if they do rezone it.
And then this little piece, do we want that to be rezoned also, or the whole thing?
I think that should be retained as green space, and if somebody wishes to purchase that at a later date, then that could be addressed at that time.
I agree. I think we should, that little piece on the corner should be retained as green space.
So when we vote on this, we're gonna vote and it'll reflect that we wanna have the division of the lots as we've discussed, okay.
So, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to new business. Scheduling and acceptance of a conditional use permit application from Greg Townsend to operate a home occupation at 1314 Joa Street. Do we have a motion? Schedule a public hearing?
I make a motion that we schedule it for next meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I was just going to say, I believe the occupation is gunsmith.
Yeah, I was just.
I didn't see that in the packet.
No, the first time I'd like to explain this a little bit, because I just looked at this finally and I said, wow, this is.
It's missing some information.
Yeah,
It's
Missing-
missing a lot of information.
Yeah, well, just for information-wise, this is a lot up in Tlingit Haida, 1300 Joa Street. Everyone knows where Joa Street is. One of those lots up there. So size, I'm not sure. Zoning would be single-family. And the type of use, he was going to run a gunsmithing operation out of his house. So I think before the next meeting, I'll get a hold of Mr. Townsend and see if he can't get a site plan and show the fact that he has adequate parking, which I know he does, and the size a little bit more detail
How
for
many
your
employees he
review.
needs?
Yeah, I've talked to him. I've read out the whole thing to him. He's a, yeah, I think he's retired or Coast Guard or something. But yeah, it's just gonna be him in his house, and he's gonna do a little gun repair and that kind of stuff. So it's not gonna be a very high impact is what he's telling me. But yeah, he'll be at the next meeting. But for your information, I'll try to get a little bit more details for you to review before the next meeting.
I was just kind of concerned, because the only comments that I read on it was there'd be no odors or fumes coming out of the house.
Yeah, I'm like, is he working on cars? Or
Yeah, 9
That's what I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, it will be turned on. Yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't say what his business is, but yeah, I will get that.
A little more detail would be helpful.
Just at least what the business is. It's, yeah. Sorry about that, but should have looked a little closer. Anyway.
So, we've made a motion to
Made a
accept.
motion.
Okay.
Second, and we've moved on from that one.
Okay.
Scheduling acceptance of an application to vacate a pedestrian easement from Paul and Mara
Letumsky.
Latumsky at 840 Midcoff Highway.
Man.
Well, I just had a quick question on this one, Joe, is what is that pedestrian easement used for? Is it access to somebody else's property that they're not using, or what was its original purpose that it was intended?
I will
Or do you know?
defer to Liz on that, because
Okay.
we're questioning that a lot too.
Yes.
As we looked at this, it's, it's like a strip of land that goes from the highway down to the beach. Is it beach access, or?
Is it supposed to be beach
I-
access?
Yeah,
Or
good
not.
question.
The subdivider, who was the university at the time, required that to be put in, and it does go from the highway down to the beach. A couple lots down, there's actually another.
It's this
Yeah.
right there?
Yep.
I wonder if that's part of, because they had easements for along section lines. I wonder if that's.
Well,
what
no,
that
it's
was.
not, because it was actually put in specifically on
Hmm.
that piece of property, so. I'm not sure why. We looked back at the minutes from the meeting when they approved the subdivision plat and couldn't find any mention of why that was there.
And it's not to provide public access to the beach, or?
I assume that's what it is.
Okay.
But there's also, right here, nearby,
Mhm.
public access to the beach.
Another public access to the beach, okay. Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so were we,
You
on
know,
that one.
we have a motion to accept that for,
I so move. We accept the vacation of a public easement for Paul and Mara Lumovsky at 840 McGough Highway.
this is scheduling a public hearing? Okay. Second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Consideration of request from Kevin and Lorene Granberg to construct a 7-foot tall fence at 116 Skylark Way. We have a motion to accept.
I so move.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What?
This isn't a motion to accept, it's
No.
actual consideration.
Yeah, we
For
covered-
consideration?
Actually, what it does is fences are allowed to be built in residential zones up to 6 feet high.
6 foot, yeah.
The ordinance, that's why I was just digging it out, from the level of the street or tree less than, if trimmed to a height of 7. Fences in excess of 6 feet in height may be allowed if approved by the commission. So basically, with your blessing, they can build a fence over 6 feet. It's not necessarily a public hearing thing, it's not necessarily anything thing. It's at your discretion of whether a fence can go higher than 6 feet.
I make a motion that we let them build their fence as high as they want.
To Mars.
Depends on if it blocks your
Based on the
view.
Yeah,
neighboring
and-
property?
Yeah. No,
Well,
sorry.
this property is up McGill's. It is the old rectory, I believe, up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rectory, they call it. But yeah, it's going to be, as you can see by his definition, it's going to be wood frame fence with the metal horizontally. It's the same, if you're familiar, if we've been looking at this property out there with the variances, when you ride by there, as you said, you go to all properties with variances, that Charles Davis is there in Hungerford.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, yeah. It's posts with, that's the old hospital roofing is what he's got too.
Oh, okay.
Laid out horizontally, it's that tannish brown stuff. It doesn't look bad at all, at least out there. And that's the prime example of when Paul Privat wanted to build that fence. He came to the commission too, because he wanted a fence higher than 6 feet. And of course, to block the view of that place, they were more than willing to grant it. That's the history of that.
So there's an
fence
existing fence there, as I remember.
There used to be, and it
Okay.
used to be 8 foot high,
Yeah.
he said. But it was wood and it collapsed. But
I would say since replacing the existing 8-foot fence, that even though it fell down, I would authorize them to build back up to an 8-foot fence.
he's only asking for 7,
Yeah,
but that's
but-
fine.
If he wants to go a little higher.
I make a motion that we allow them to build the fence to no more than 10 feet.
Are we just scheduling this?
No, we're voting to do this, right? Right now, right?
You're voting to let him do it. Yeah,
To let him do
that's
it.
kind of
Yeah.
your discretion.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I make a motion that we allow him to build this fence to 7 feet as he's detailed in the letter to us of October 7th.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. And let me get this real quick. Schedule and acceptance, an application for variance for Charles Davis. And what are we accepting here?
A setback variance request.
Setback variance request. What's he asking for?
He's asking for, just on the, he's an industrial lot that abuts a single-family lot. And the ordinance says that single-family lots abutting industrial lots, that industrial lot shall abide by the rear yard setbacks of the adjacent, of the more restrictive property. Single-family setbacks are 20 feet on the back, 10 on the sides. Even though he's on the side, he's being asked to go
To go
to
20 feet.
20 feet. I mean,
Okay.
so that's,
So
he's
we're just
asking to go.
reducing it from 20 feet to 10 feet.
10, he's
is what he's
asking-
asking for.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept this for a public hearing?
I so move.
Second?
I'll second. It's for public hearing.
Just for public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any discussion items? We don't have any discussion items. We have a motion to adjourn.
Next meeting?
Next meeting.
Speak up, speak up.
Yes, I didn't hear you.
Do we need to discuss anything about what time it ought to be held?
I can make anything work for my schedule just so long as I know when we're doing it and enough in advance. So.
Yeah, I saw in the paper this time that it was going to be at noon, or no, 7 p.m. My wife said it's at 10. No, it's at 7.
In the paper?
I didn't even see that.
I didn't see it either.
That this meeting was in the paper at 7?
least that's the
Till
way I
last
understood
night.
it.
I didn't.
No, I didn't catch it, so
I didn't
That
check.
was Tuesday at
March
7.
is good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what I submitted to the paper.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I
It didn't
understand.
matter, it just, we were,
there was
My wife and I
confusion,
were-
sure.
Yeah,
The next scheduled date is November 10th.
Mr. Chair, I don't have any problem with the 10th at 10.
I don't either.
I don't.
As long as everybody, that works for everybody.
it works for me too, but
And I will be gone in December. And unable to call in.
November 10th at 10.
Huh? I'm sorry.
are we having it this time for people to come from outside the area, or is it because of the room availability? or-
No?
I don't know why we landed on 10.
I think it had to do with the AML barge schedule at first, right?
No, not this one.
I know, but
No,
originally,
beginning.
we
Yeah,
switched it to
originally.
10.
Yeah, right.
But there's nothing with the room or,
I'm open for any time on the second Tuesday. My schedule's pretty open right now, so long as I know enough in advance, I can shuffle things around.
We go 10:15 so you can make your AML barge.
That's not something I usually have to worry about.
I mean, and then maybe we need to, just a side note, do we need to ask the mayor if he could reappoint, can he reappoint Mike on the planning and zoning? No, he can't. No.
Maybe ask them to solicit or beg for 2 more members.
Right. Yeah, because if one of us is
Well-
gone, we don't have a quorum, right?
correct.
Ron might be willing to come back with the financial disclosure
Oh, yeah.
being gone.
Yeah, you should give him a heads up, maybe. We should ask him. Yeah, that'd be good.
So,
Do we have a time on the 10th?
10
10 on the 10th.
10 on the 10th.
Can we think of anybody else we should solicit? Because it'd be nice to get 7, so that,
Yeah.
because I'm going to be gone, I know, in December, so.
I'll probably be gone in January.
Yeah, I think I might be gone in January.
I travel a fair amount with work too. So.
No, I'm back. I'm back in time for January's
Richard
meeting.
had him sign the secretary,
I'm not back until when am I
See,
back?
your first degree.
just on the back.
I don't
Yes.
think
I don't think I'm back until
My
There's
trips
3
yet,
to
so-
sign.
I'm not back until the 16th of January. So,
Okay.
yeah, so you might want to schedule a meeting in January, any time after the 16th, I'll be back.
Okay.
Is there any problem with signing with red?
No, I don't.
Okay.
There's
Got
3.
discussion items taken care of. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.